Deshaun.
I want this to be like recorded.
And Sean.
Like I want them to say this on camera.
I initially, when I started to understand PA, I challenged Sean, but it's just one match, 3 songs. If we had repeated that challenge over and over again, I would have been bested several times. We only considered that one bout. Now, I did that because I wanted to enter the tournament scene. Before that, we had the JDS versus Tactile challenge when Gen Nobody.
Remember the team Tornado?
No, JDS Tactile versus NYDS, correction. When we all went to Queens and we challenged the NYDS crew.
And Bunny Hood of the East was big at that time too, right?
Hey, have you seen Bunny recently?
No.
Yeah, he's on my
Chill, like.
He's totally different, night and day.
Yeah, really.
You know, with times, you know, they change. You gotta roll with the punches, but still. I challenged Sean because I knew I was ready to enter. If I had beat him, I was gonna enter the tournament. Shortly afterwards, I entered my first tournament, FYE Bayshore Mall, and I bested Jesse. Luckily, because I had Paranoia Evolution. That was my first PA song that I had on Smash.
Right.
I got like 3 grades in that tournament, and I won. Afterwards, I won several tournaments because I had the Paranoias on lock. After I won my 4th one, people started to understand that I was practicing the Paranoias ritualistically. You know this.
Everybody was like, oh, Stephen just plays Paranoia Brothers. Stephen just plays Paranoia Brothers.
So, the first tournament that I lost was at 8 on the break against Cucumber.
And he's from Pennsylvania. He was one of the top players at the time too.
The thing, like, I used to catch heat about the fact that I played these fast songs, and I had to alternate to 10-footers. I caught heat about the 10-footers. People like, I can't keep up. They're like, if you're not with it, you're gonna be against it. I was with the 10-footers because I had to conform. After I faced Matt, when I faced Matt at that, the great tournament, the first song he picked on me because he knew I was gonna be one of the players that faced me in was Max Unlimited. I got shitted on. I had to work my way up from the losers bracket back to the winners. I beat him. He picked Max 300 on me the second time we faced. I still beat him because of the Shuffle song. This was a week after Extreme was released. When like all the young kids, me, David, Bunny, cut from school and we're at NYDS because they were the first place to have it. And I was basing my training off of that and entering that tournament on that behalf. And then I had to beat him twice because it was double elimination. I beat him once after he beat me, and then we faced off again, right back to back. And it was still song for song. I forgot what he picked. I think I might have picked the Paranoia. And the 3rd song was Cartoon Hero Shuffle.
Oh man, everybody's team.
It was the first thing Extreme was released, so Cartoon Heroes was just like,
what the fuck?
I felt like I was reading Braille for the first time. Just,
Y'all was playing on one night.
So after that, I learned that I had to, like, facing out-of-state challengers, and in regards to the fact that I said I had to hold shit on my back, NYC wouldn't have been creme de la creme if I didn't know to instantly start training myself for that.
So you felt that like playing out-of-state players definitely made an influence on you, so that you wanted to influence your other players at NYC.
Not only that, it's not that it was just the influence thing. I was out to win, right? And you can't approach things. If you have that mentality, you can't be weak about things. The best kind of learning is when you face an obstacle greater within yourself. Because at that point in time, your limitations exceed. Like you're pushed to the limit, and you have to go your hardest to get that W, So I started training with the Max 300s, and then CSA came about. You remember the night before that tournament, and you had to walk like half a mile to the other arcade in front of that movie theater at Crossgates Mall?
Yeah, the one on the first floor.
The night before that tournament, I played Max 300. I got 27 grades. You remember, that was the first time anybody ever seen that on this side, because I was practicing because of the whole cucumber incident.
I remember it.
Take your time, guys. Okay, and so I got 27 grades in like 3 non 1 grades perfect, and people were sitting there with their jaws just stuck. That was brand new to me. The next day, I was gonna pick Max 300 in the final round. I made it to the
I remember that.
semi-final.
He came up to me. He was like, "Pick Max 300." He told me right to my face, like, "I'm gonna pick Max 300." Just letting me know.
I made it to the semifinals and I placed day in the hand, and I got cheated out of that.
Day in the hand, another.
But like you noted
That was
earlier,
flash.
when you said when the New York players were all about one X, no bar. Before we faced off, we made there was a consensus that there was going to be no speed line. I won my pick. I didn't pick Max 300 because I was waiting for the final round. He won his pick. Shuffle came on. It was Sana Moret and Ente.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And
1.5 did.
yes. Last second, you know how you hold down the button of the 7th mix? I like scrolled all the way down. He waited for the last second to hit. And
Put it on 1.5.
I lost to him by 1 grade. It was 20 grades to 21.
That's fucked up. No.
And he ended up winning the tournament because of Burning Heat Shuffle against you.
Yep.
Now, after that, I beat him at a Queens tournament, and I picked Max 300 on him. But it was like an exhibition match between me and him. Now, when I went to 8 on the break, champions of the East Coast, I knew Cucumber was going to be there, so we're facing off. We're squaring off for the second time. I had a statement to make because of the fact that he was my first defeat, and I was just out for heads. I did horrible in qualifiers, right? 8th mix extreme. But because of that, I had to face off with the top competitor. Remember Harold, Max Paranoia?
Yeah, oh yeah. That dude was so
He was
serious.
a
That was an incident.
monster.
Everybody was scared of that guy.
Now, because of that, like, I did so horrible in qualifier. I was the very last person to rank. So I basically almost didn't make the tournament. And he was the top seed.
Yeah.
So it was me versus him off the bat. And that was the most expected match of that 2-day tournament, right?
And didn't you knock him?
Hold on. So the first match, me versus him. Off the back, he tells me, because as top seed, he gets to choose whether he picks first or I pick first. I pick first. I pick Paranoid Survivor Max only. Because that's how hard body I was. At that time, I had it full combo.
At that time, it was still a big deal, though. It was still relatively new.
So I picked that, rape him. And I think that tournament was PA count and not song.
He wasn't even
Yeah, it was
past it,
PA.
though. Like, he ain't even
So,
past it.
after that, he picked Max Unlimited on me. So I basically served the preemptive strike by training myself with the, because he came down with the whole Maryland.
No,
thing.
man, he had Max
It was
down.
Harold.
I remember he had
It
Max
was Tim, and there was some other dude.
Gay guy.
Tim was more. Yes, gay guy.
Gay Goblin.
Gay Goblin, but
Wow, Gay Goblin. Holy shit.
we were just talking about this. The guy that you played in, what was his name?
Zeus?
Zeus, yeah.
Yeah, James.
Yes. So I knocked Max out. I kind of like hurt his feelings because no, he was expected to win.
Fucking tournament.
So, all right, I'm doing that. That whole tournament, like, just being realistic, I won every technical aspect of that. You were on my team.
Yeah, the
with
team-
Angel.
the team battle.
We won team.
It was it was
Jeff.
me, you, and Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. It was
Oh,
Jeff.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
Jeff.
it was me and
In the end, we went against me.
Where the hell
it
is
was me,
Jeff
you,
right
and
now?
Jeff versus Cucumber, Tim, and
I don't even-
Harold. Harold.
Yeah, I think so.
They were the most obsolete team against us, and we won.
Yeah,
So-
that was great. That was great.
In the end, I had to face Harold again in finals because he made it all the way back. Or it was Tim. It was either Tim or Harold.
Harold got knocked out because he played Reflex the next round, and Reflex picked PSMO again.
So
and knocked him out.
yeah, that's right. I
And he
remember.
was heated about that.
He started acting out for the rest of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, definitely. And so I won 8th mix extreme. I made a statement that day. I won 8th mix extreme technical.
Yeah.
Then there was 5th mix technical. I won that. And then there was team. And I remember team was the very last tournament I placed.
Yeah.
That we did.
Doing research in Europe.
Everybody stood on the stage for it. And at the end, I had to go against Cucumber because he was the strongest member. I was the strongest member. I picked PSMO, and I felt my rib cage collapse on me at the end stream. I swear to God, I was sitting there just like dying, but nobody could tell. And I didn't full combo it, but I did double A it, and we won.
Yeah.
I felt like a fucking warrior after that shit. I pulled like over $900, and no, I sold my B-Mania to the XN 6000 to Airwalk.
Oh man, you should have
I-
sold that, man.
Take your time, guys. And I pulled over a rack, 1,000, because I sold that, and then I took the PS2 home with me. Yo, I missed school that Monday because it was a 2-day tournament. I remember I was in Connecticut,
Yeah.
and like I took a bus from down there back up, like I had to fucking call my mom talking about I'm in this tournament, I'm gonna win a lot of money, please don't. She's got like a switch and a belt and like the whole line.
Wow.
So I came home with like good. So I was like, I don't know. I felt like, you know, the Indians and the Pilgrims and shit, but still. After that, I felt like it was enough. And then I had my time apart, and then everybody else grew. I like the fact that he took after me, and he picked up the pieces after I was trying really hard, but the fact that I was in Connecticut, it really like discouraged.
Yeah, but you did one BC after that. Like BC was also a really big tournament that you won.
That's very true.
That was before Champions of the Coast?
You don't remember? Okay, specifically, the Broadway City tournament I won, right? And I played second in freestyle.
Okay.
You don't remember that night after the tournament? They gave me some shitty $100 prize. And then I went in the bathroom, I came out, and then I let everybody within my team, DDPD, when it was just like the less than 10 members, before he took like the stronghold of it, know that I was moving away that week. After I won, I let them know that I was moving away. And I started crying and shit because I was like, oh, my niggas, you know, like I'm be gone. So I felt like separated. It was like a couple months afterwards that I entered that Champions of the Coast tournament, did my thing. But after that, I couldn't really like maintain, you know, like my daily training and like, so I fell off for a bit, but I was still holding it down because after he took the stronghold, like the forefront in the New York, then he inspired me to like create a new faction, and I created DDPD-NE. I picked up like the top freestyler from Connecticut and the top PA player from Massachusetts and the second top player, and we would just own in Rhode Island, Boston, Maine, Connecticut. We go and like destroy. Like we started like just rattling the cages out there to where the best players that were the best. You don't remember when that dude Nightmare Rob, when I entered that one tournament in Rhode Island, and I entered as, does anybody remember Willie Boy?
Yeah. I remember that shit.
I entered under his name, right? I won like a PS2 Japanese style, and I sold it to that dude from MIT, Mike. He was like the only nerd for mad money. No, he gave me like $100 and traded me a regular PS2. And
Jiffy?
yes, Jiffy Boy Mike, the freestyler. He's on point. So, and then I get back home, and then I go on the New York forums, and I started a thread. I was like, Willie Boy owned at TGA, and I let him know the deal before I put that up, and he was like, yeah, I busted their ass. And like, after that, I had to apologize for that act because Rob, who was the best, he was like, oh, you guys from New York think you're shit. He caught,
actually, yeah, we are.
We were at the time like
shit.
He caught the only titty attack about it. So I was being cordial, but I busted his ass again, and he tried to cheat me out of a tournament in Hanover, Maine. I remember that. I drove like 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get out there, and in the end, like when it was the final round, his friend was a judge, and he was like, I want you to like check the pads and shit and have a rematch or something. And then like I had to step into that little side piece conversation that because they were ultimately gonna overrule the fact that I won.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was that bitter, you know.